Imagine walking through your garden, enjoying the fresh air, the warm sun on your face, when you spot something, an old rusty can, a broken bicycle wheel, or maybe a shattered piece of pottery that you almost tossed out years ago. But wait, before you throw it away, what if that old piece of junk could be transformed into something stunning, something that adds a unique touch to your garden? A beautiful piece of art that not only brings charm to your outdoor space but also gives you a sense of pride in having created it yourself. Does that sound interesting? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today, how you can take things you might think of as junk and turn them into stunning, one-of-a-kind garden art that'll make your outdoor space look incredible. Welcome to Age Gracefully After 70, where we share tips and transformation videos to help you live the best life. Whether you're looking for a fun hobby or a way to rejuvenate your garden without spending a lot of money, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into 15 plus creative and simple ways to turn your old items into garden treasures. Trust me, after this, you'll never look at your trash the same way again. Let's kick things off with a perfect example of what we're about to do. You've probably got some old, discarded objects in your garage or shed, things that have been gathering dust for years. Well, instead of tossing them, you could be turning them into beautiful sculptures, planters, or even wind chimes that'll add life and color to your garden. Sounds good, right? So, let's dive in. The first idea: transform old tools into garden sculptures. Imagine this: you've got an old rake that's lost its teeth, or perhaps a shovel that's seen better days. Rather than throwing it out, what if you could turn that rusty old tool into a garden sculpture? I remember my friend Carol, who was in her late 70s when she decided to give this a try. She had an old rake in her shed, barely functional, with the metal teeth all bent and worn. Instead of tossing it, she decided to repurpose it. With a little creativity, she bent those rusty teeth into the shape of a flower. After a quick spray of paint, yellow and orange to make it pop, Carol had a striking, one-of-a-kind garden sculpture. Not only did it add a pop of color to her garden, but it also made her feel like she was doing something artistic and meaningful with her time. Carol felt proud every time she stepped into her garden, knowing she'd turned something old and forgotten into something beautiful. You don't have to be an artist to pull this off. You just need a few simple tools like pliers, spray paint, and your imagination. Whether it's an old rake, a broken spade, or even a rusty hoe, these can easily be transformed into a beautiful garden piece that speaks to your creativity. And here's a little secret: it's incredibly satisfying to look at your work, to see the transformation from trash to treasure. Plus, this kind of project gives you a sense of accomplishment, something that is always good for the soul, especially as we get older. Now, maybe you're thinking, I don't have any old tools lying around. No problem. The next idea will show you how to make the most of items you probably already have in your kitchen or storage space. The second idea: turn old mugs into whimsical flower planters. Now, think about all those mismatched, chipped mugs you've been collecting over the years, some of them from trips, others gifted by family members, and some that have simply seen better days. You could donate them, but instead, why not give them a second life as charming little planters? I want to tell you about Edna, who's in her early 80s and has a collection of old mugs. She loves flowers but doesn't have the space for large pots. One day, she had the idea to turn those mugs into small, whimsical flower planters. With just a few small plants, some soil, and a little creativity, she turned those mugs into beautiful little gardens that now sit around her porch. They make her smile every time she sees them, and they've added such a unique, personal touch to her space. Edna's idea is simple and perfect for anyone, regardless of gardening experience. All you need to do is drill a small hole in the bottom of each mug to let the water drain, fill it with some soil, and plant your favorite flowers. You can even paint the mugs to add a splash of color. These little mugs turned into planters are not just a way to recycle, but also a way to personalize your garden and fill it with life. It's an easy, affordable way to get your hands a little dirty and enjoy the rewards of your efforts. Now, I know you're probably thinking that these might be small-scale projects. But here's the thing, small projects like these can bring so much joy. They're not just about the finished product, they're about the act of creating, about spending time doing something that makes you feel connected to the world around you. If you're looking for a way to make a bigger impact, I've got something even more exciting to share with you in just a moment. So stick with me, and let's get ready for more creative ideas to turn your old junk into garden gold. The third idea, turn old tires into vibrant garden planters. I'll bet you never thought of an old tire as anything other than something that belongs to a car, right? But hear me out, those worn-out tires can be transformed into some of the most colorful, creative garden planters you've ever seen. This idea came to me from a neighbor of mine, Gerald, who's in his 70s. He had a couple of old tires lying around the backyard, and instead of hauling them to the junkyard, he decided to turn them into something beautiful. With a little paint and some clever stacking, he made them into multi-level planters for flowers and herbs. Gerald's tire planters are the talk of the neighborhood, and whenever someone sees them, they always ask, "How did you make that?" Gerald's project wasn't difficult at all. He simply painted the tires in bright, bold colors. He chose a mix of blue, green, and yellow, and stacked them to create a tower effect. Then, he filled each tire with soil and planted a mix of colorful flowers. The result? A fun, eye-catching garden feature that adds personality and color to his outdoor space. This project is perfect for anyone who loves plants and wants to add some creativity to their garden. Tires are durable, weather-resistant, and can handle all kinds of plants. Plus, with just a little paint, you can match the planters to your garden's existing style. If you don't have any tires lying around, ask around. Maybe your neighbors or even your local garage has a few they'd be happy to give away. What I love about Gerald's tire planters is how they completely change the vibe of the garden. They add height, texture, and a bit of whimsy. And the best part? You'll never have to worry about replacing them because tires are built to last. The fourth idea, repurpose glass bottles into beautiful garden sculptures. Let's talk about glass bottles. We all have them, empty wine bottles, soda bottles, or even old perfume bottles. Most of us end up tossing them or recycling them, but let me tell you, these bottles can become stunning works of art in your garden. Take Lucy, for example. She's 80 years old and loves collecting old glass bottles. She has a whole shelf of them. One day, she decided to get creative and use her collection to make sculptures for her garden. She started by arranging the bottles in interesting shapes. She stacked them in a pyramid, glued a few together in a spiral, and even made a charming flower shape by arranging the bottles in a circular pattern. Lucy didn't stop there. She took things to the next level by adding a little color. With some glass paint, she turned the bottles into vibrant pieces of art, catching the sunlight in beautiful ways. Her garden now has these dazzling glass sculptures that sparkle in the sun, creating a magical atmosphere. Every time I visit her, I'm amazed by how she turns simple bottles into such gorgeous, reflective art. This is a great project if you're someone who enjoys upcycling and wants to make a visual statement in your garden. You don't need to be a professional artist to pull it off. Just a little creativity and some basic supplies like glue or silicone sealant, along with some paint if you want to add color, are all you need. Glass bottles are versatile. You can turn them into wind chimes, hang them from trees, or use them as decorative edging along your flower beds. The options are endless, and once again, this is a fun way to spend your time doing something meaningful, whether it's for yourself or for others to enjoy. Plus, when people see what you've created, you can proudly say, "That was made from something I almost threw away." And now, let's move on to another idea that's perfect for seniors, something that requires little effort but gives you a sense of accomplishment and adds a personal touch to your garden. The fifth idea, turn wooden pallets into garden furniture. Now, we're stepping up the game a little bit. Have you ever thought about turning old wooden pallets into garden furniture? If you're like most people, you probably use them for storage, or you've seen them stacked in a corner, collecting dust. But those pallets could easily be turned into rustic, charming benches, tables, or even a garden swing. Let me tell you about my friend Janice, who's in her 70s and lives on a quiet little farm. She had a couple of old wooden pallets lying around, and one day, she decided to transform them into a garden bench. With just a few basic tools, a hammer, nails, and some outdoor cushions, she created a comfortable, rustic bench that now sits under the shade of her favorite tree. Janice told me that sitting on that bench, surrounded by the garden she lovingly maintains, gives her a sense of peace and accomplishment that she cherishes. Wooden pallets are an easy material to work with, and you can make furniture that's both functional and beautiful. Whether you want a cozy bench for reading or a table to host family and friends, pallets are a great way to recycle old wood into something useful. And, if you're not sure how to start, there are plenty of simple tutorials online that can guide you through the process. The best part about pallet furniture is that it's customizable. You can stain or paint the wood to match your garden's theme, and you can even add cushions for comfort. Whether you place your new furniture under a tree or near a flower bed, it will add a rustic charm to your outdoor space. The sixth idea: upcycle your old garden tools into bird feeders. By now, you're probably looking around your garage or shed thinking, what else can I do with all this old stuff? Well, how about turning your retired garden tools into bird feeders? I know it might sound a little unconventional, but let me share the story of my neighbor Henry, who's in his mid-80s. Henry loved to garden, but as he got older, his hands became less steady, and he could no longer tend to his plants the way he used to. One afternoon, Henry was looking at his old, rusty trowels and spades and thought, why not repurpose these? He had a couple of broken hand tools that weren't good for gardening anymore, but with a little imagination, he turned them into charming bird feeders. All Henry did was attach a small bowl or tray to the tool's handle, then filled it with birdseed. He hung his new bird feeders around his garden, and soon enough, colorful birds were flocking to them, creating a lively, joyful atmosphere. Every time he saw a bird enjoying the seed, he'd smile, feeling connected to nature and proud of his handiwork. This is an excellent project for seniors because it doesn't require heavy lifting or complicated tools, just a bit of creativity. You can repurpose shovels, rakes, or even old colanders into bird feeders. It's an easy, fun way to attract beautiful wildlife into your garden while recycling tools that may no longer be useful. And here's something special. Creating a bird-friendly garden like this doesn't just brighten up your space, it also gives you something to look forward to each day. Watching birds in your garden is not only relaxing, but it also gives you a sense of accomplishment and a connection to the world around you. The seventh idea: create a mosaic pathway using broken tiles. Let's talk about broken tiles. If you've ever had a tile break or a plate shatter, you might have been tempted to throw it out. But hold on. Don't toss that tile just yet. Broken tiles can be used to create beautiful mosaic pathways that'll add charm and texture to your garden. This idea came from a woman named Patricia, who's in her early 70s. Patricia had a beautiful garden, but the old, worn-out stone pathway wasn't looking too great anymore. Instead of buying a whole new set of stones, she decided to repurpose her broken tiles. Over the course of a few weekends, she began arranging them in a colorful, intricate pattern along the garden path. Patricia didn't follow a specific design, she just let her creativity flow, arranging the tiles in a way that felt right. She used a mix of old kitchen plates, ceramic tiles, and even a few cracked coffee mugs to create a stunning mosaic that now leads visitors through her garden. It's a fantastic way to add color, texture, and a little bit of personality to your outdoor space. Creating a mosaic pathway might seem like a bigger project, but it's actually much easier than you think. You don't need any special tools, just glue, some grout, and of course, your broken tiles. This project is perfect for anyone who loves working with their hands but doesn't want to take on something too strenuous. Once you've completed your mosaic, you'll be able to walk along your very own unique pathway, feeling proud of the transformation you've made. It's a project that's both practical and beautiful, and best of all, it's completely customizable. You can create any design you like, making it a true reflection of your personal style. The 8th idea, make a garden fountain out of an old ceramic pot. Creating a garden fountain out of an old ceramic pot. Fountains are such a calming addition to any garden, and you can create your very own with just a few simple supplies. I'll tell you about Grace, who's in her late 70s. She had an old ceramic flower pot sitting in her backyard for years, cracked and forgotten. One afternoon, she decided it was time to bring it back to life. Grace placed the pot upside down, drilled a hole in the bottom, and added a small water pump she found online. After adding some decorative stones around the base, she filled the pot with water and plugged in the pump. The result? A beautiful, serene fountain that adds a peaceful sound to her garden. It was an easy and affordable project, and Grace now loves sitting in her garden, listening to the sound of the water flowing. It's a peaceful, calming addition that doesn't just look beautiful, it adds an atmosphere of relaxation that's perfect for winding down at the end of the day. This project is fantastic for seniors because it doesn't require a lot of heavy lifting, and once the fountain is set up, it's low maintenance. Plus, the soothing sound of running water can bring so much peace and tranquility to your outdoor space. The 9th idea, turn old ladders into garden trellises. Old wooden ladders, either the kind you've replaced or ones that are too rickety to use anymore, are more than just a thing of the past. They can easily be turned into unique, rustic trellises for climbing plants like roses, beans, or peas. Just imagine, instead of throwing out that old ladder, you can turn it into a lovely, functional piece for your garden. A friend of mine, Alice, had a tall, wooden ladder sitting in her shed for years. One day, she decided to prop it up against the garden fence and plant a few climbing plants at the base. The result was stunning. The plants grew up the ladder's rungs, creating a beautiful green, natural trellis. It gave her garden an old-fashioned, rustic look, and it was one of the easiest projects she's ever done. Alice loves how it adds depth and charm to her outdoor space. Ladders are perfect for this type of project because they already have built-in spaces for plants to climb. Whether you want to add some vibrant flowers or even some vegetables, an old ladder can quickly become the perfect structure to support them. Plus, it's a simple project that doesn't require much effort at all. The 10th idea, create a garden bench from old logs. If you have access to some old logs or tree stumps, why not turn them into a natural garden bench? You don't need to be a carpenter to create a sturdy, rustic bench that can be used for years to come. My neighbor, Bob, had a couple of tree stumps left over from a storm that knocked down a few trees. Instead of removing them, he turned them into a charming garden bench. He simply sanded down the tops, placed a piece of weatherproof wood on top, and secured it to the stumps. The result was a natural, organic bench that looked beautiful next to his flower bed. Bob's bench is perfect for sitting outside and enjoying the view of his garden. It's a simple project that can be done in a day or two, and it's ideal for anyone who enjoys the beauty of nature. Plus, it's a great way to make use of old materials that would otherwise go to waste. The 11th idea, turn old wooden crates into vertical planters. Old wooden crates, the kind you see at thrift stores or in your basement, can be transformed into beautiful vertical planters. These crates are perfect for adding height and dimension to your garden, and they're incredibly easy to work with. Rose, another friend of mine, turned several wooden crates into vertical planters for her backyard. She stacked them one on top of the other, drilled a few drainage holes, and filled them with a variety of flowers. The result was a vertical garden that not only added color but also saved space in her small garden. It was a fun project that didn't take much time but made a huge impact. If you have a collection of old wooden crates, try this project yourself. Stack them to create a vertical garden wall or arrange them around your garden as decorative features. These planters are great for growing herbs, flowers, or even small vegetables. The beauty of this project is in its simplicity and versatility. The 12th idea, make wind chimes from old utensils. Old kitchen utensils, spoons, forks, and knives, don't have to be tossed out when they're no longer in use. These everyday items can be repurposed into delightful wind chimes for your garden. I remember helping my friend Ella, who's in her 70s, turn some old silverware into wind chimes. Ella simply attached the utensils to strings and hung them from a sturdy branch. When the wind blows, they create beautiful sounds that add a musical element to her garden. It was an easy project that Ella thoroughly enjoyed, and now her garden is filled with the sound of wind chimes every time there's a breeze. This project is great for seniors because it's simple and requires minimal effort, but it's incredibly rewarding. Plus, you can use whatever utensils you have on hand, and each chime will be a little different. The 13th idea: transform old jeans into garden aprons. How about turning those old, worn-out jeans into something practical? If you love gardening, why not create a garden apron from an old pair of jeans? You can cut them into a simple apron shape and add pockets for your gardening tools. This is a great way to recycle fabric and create something useful that you can wear while tending to your plants. The 14th idea: use broken ceramic pots for garden art. If you have any ceramic pots that have cracked or broken, don't throw them away. You can break them into pieces and use them to create beautiful mosaics or even garden borders. Simply glue the pieces together to form a pattern or use them as decorative edging for flower beds or pathways. The beauty of this project is that it's fully customizable, and every design will be unique. The 15th idea: recycle old bottles into garden lights. Lastly, old glass bottles can be transformed into colorful, glowing garden lights. All you need to do is fill them with string lights and hang them around your garden or porch. The soft, glowing light from the bottles will create a magical, cozy atmosphere in your garden at night. So, there you have it, 15 genius ways to turn your old junk into stunning garden art. From turning broken tiles into pathways to creating bird feeders from old tools, the possibilities are endless. Each project is simple, fun, and rewarding, and it's a fantastic way to personalize your garden and make it truly your own. I hope this video inspired you to take a second look at the things you have lying around and see the potential for transformation. Remember, the joy isn't just in the finished project, it's in the act of creating, of making something beautiful out of what you already have. If you love these ideas, please like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips and creative projects. Here's to living your best, most creative life at any age. Keep creating, keep dreaming, and most importantly, keep enjoying every moment of your beautiful garden.